Okay, let's talk about your home's locks. I mean, we use them every single day, but when's the last time you really thought about them? They are, and I mean this literally, your first line of defense. So let's dive in and see why a simple lock upgrade might just be the most important thing you do for your home all year.
Take a look at this number, 26 seconds. What is that? Well, according to the FBI, that's how often a burglary happens somewhere in the US. It's a pretty sobering number, right? And it really, really drives home just how critical that first line of defense is. Because, most burglars, they're just looking for an easy target, a weak lock, or an unlocked door.
Which kind of begs the question, doesn't it? How strong is your first line of defense? I mean, really. Let's get into it. We're going to break down everything you need to know to fortify your home, and it all starts with the very first thing a potential intruder is going to check out, your locks.
Okay, so how can you tell if your locks are actually doing their job? Well, it turns out there are some pretty clear red flags to look for, signs that it's probably time for an upgrade. Let's run through them.
Take a look at this list and be honest. Does any of this hit a little close to home? If you just moved in, think about it. You have no clue who might have a key. Or maybe your locks are just old and sticky. That's not just annoying, it's a huge weak spot. And don't even get me started on basic builder-grade locks. Those things are practically an invitation. Seriously, even just one of these is a really good reason to start thinking about an upgrade.
All right, but the good news here is that you've got a ton of options. This isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. We can look at everything from really simple, cost-effective fixes all the way up to some pretty cool high-tech upgrades. Let's dive into what's out there.
Okay, check this out because the difference here is night and day. On one side, you have your basic builder-grade locks, the kind that probably came with your house. They're designed to be cheap, not secure. They're super vulnerable to stuff like lock-picking or bumping. But on the other hand, you've got high-security locks. These are a whole different beast. They're actually engineered to fight back against those attacks. We're talking about genuinely superior protection.
So who are the big names in this space? Well, you've got brands like Medico and Multilock. These guys are famous for just being tough. They can resist picking, bumping, even drilling. Then you have others like Schlage Primus that are all about key control. Their keys are patented, which basically means you can't just waltz into a hardware store and get a copy made. See? It's all about adding those extra layers of security.
But wait, what if your locks themselves are pretty solid, but you're just worried about who might have a key? Maybe an old roommate or a contractor? Well, that's where rekeying is an absolute game changer. It's a super affordable way to get your peace of mind back. A locksmith just comes in, changes the little pins inside the lock, and poof, all those old keys are now totally useless. And of course, we gotta talk about the tech side of things. Smart locks are everywhere now, and for good reason. We're talking top brands like August, Schlage, Yale, they're amazing. Just think about it. You could give a temporary code to your dog walker that only works on weekdays, or get an alert on your phone the second your kids walk in the door. This is where security and convenience really come together. Okay, so a great front door lock is awesome, but it's only one piece of the puzzle, right? A truly secure home is like a fortress. You can't just guard the main gate. You have to think about all the ways someone could get in. Your windows, those sliding glass doors, even the door from the garage. These are all common weak spots that need attention too. Let's run through a couple of real-world scenarios. Scenario 1. You're a new homeowner. Awesome. You just got the keys to your new place. What's step 1? Before you even unpack a box, you should get the entire house rekeyed. Period. After that, look into upgrading the deadbolts and maybe putting a high-security lock on the front and back doors. That's how you get real peace of mind.
Okay, now for a much more serious situation. Let's say you've just experienced a break-in. This is when you go all in on a security overhaul. We're talking top-of-the-line, pick-resistant locks, for sure. But you also need to reinforce the door frames with new strike plates and get proper locks on every single window and sliding door. The goal here is to make sure it never, ever happens again.
And last up, a scenario that's probably super common. Your locks are just old. You know the ones. You have to jiggle the key just right, they stick when it's cold, they're just worn out. An unreliable lock is an insecure lock, plain and simple. The fix here is easy. Just replace them with modern, secure hardware. It's such a simple upgrade, but man, it makes a huge difference.
All right, so you're convinced, you're ready to upgrade. What happens next? You might think hiring a professional is a whole big thing, but it's actually a really straightforward process. Let me walk you through what to expect.
So a good professional locksmith isn't just going to show up and start swapping things out. First, they'll do a proper security assessment, kind of walk around your house and spot the weak points. Then, based on that, they'll give you some recommendations that actually fit your budget. The installation itself is super precise, making sure everything is perfect. And before they leave, you'll have new keys in hand, and they will have tested every single lock to make sure it's working flawlessly.
So as we start to wrap this up, there's one last really important idea I want to leave you with. It's all about being proactive, not reactive. And this quote right here, it really just nails it. Your home deserves better than basic locks. Think about it. Your home, your family, everything you care about is inside. It all deserves so much more than the cheapest, easiest to beat lock they put on at the factory.
Look, the bottom line is this. Waiting until after something happens is just too late. Upgrading your locks is honestly one of the simplest, most effective, and highest impact things you can do to protect your home. And you can do it right now.
And hey, it doesn't have to be some huge, expensive project. Maybe it's just going and checking if your deadbolt feels a little loose, or spending 5 minutes online looking up a better lock for your front door. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What's the one small, simple step you can take today to feel just a little bit more secure tonight?